Good evening, everyone. We welcome each and every one of you tonight. It's good to see such a good crowd tonight to our Monday, August the 6th, 2018 County Commissioners meeting. At this time, I would like Chaplain Mr. Larry Hayes, if he would give us an invocation, and after that, our own Audrey Schwable, if she will, with one of our 4-H'ers, come up and so the Lord will do the pledge for us. Would please stand at this time.
Let's bow our heads. Father, with the greatest of honor, we come into thy presence. Father, we recognize thee in thy righteousness and thy holiness the very best we can. We recognize that you have kept your eyes and your heart upon Bladen County. Father, we ask you to touch our leaders here in Bladen County. We ask you to touch each citizen, Lord. Here tonight, Lord, I ask you to touch these commissioners. Watch over them. If there's any type of physical ailment with them tonight, I ask you to remove it. If there's any type of spiritual concernment, Lord, I ask you to attend to it. And Father, early I spoke with a couple of our commissioners. And Father, we in Bladen County is a rural county. Father, we ask you to bless our farmers and those that are attacking our farmers, Lord, in Bladen County. I ask you to bring it to an end. Father, we are people in Bladen County that love you, respect you, and honor you, and you've always looked out for us. And we ask you tonight from the very depths of my heart, Lord, look out for our county. Give it the very best that you got. And we'll stand not only in the commissioner's room, but all through our county as citizens join together to praise your holy name for taking care of us, supplying our needs. For these things, Lord, we ask in Christ Jesus' name, and all of God's people. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, when I hear a motion, I trust everyone's had time to go over the consent item.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Gooden, we got a second by Mr. Peterson. Any questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved. Matter of interest to the commission, we have our human resources director here tonight, Ms. Shante, and she's got someone that she would like to introduce to the board as well as all of our guests out in the audience.
Hello to everyone. I would like to present to you Ms. Sydney Beatty. She is or was our 2018 summer internship recipient, and she has a few things that she would like to share with her experience and a little bit of history about herself.
Hello everyone, I am so glad to be standing in front of you today. First and foremost, my name is Sydney Beatty. I am a native of Council, North Carolina, Ringgold, North Carolina. I am a 2014 graduate from East Wayne High School. And then after that, I went to Winston-Salem State University and I received my bachelor's in psychology. And now I am off to UNCG and A&T to receive my joint master's in social work degree. My plan is to become a clinical social worker. Yeah, I pray my strength in the Lord that I make it. I have 2 more years. I have 2 years starting in August. I'm so grateful to be the recipient for this summer's internship. I learned so much. I worked along with CPS. I work along with divisional agent and foster care, and I must say that Bladen County social workers are very hardworking. And I promise that whenever I finish graduate school, I will come back to give back to Bladen County. I am so grateful, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Sydney.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Pastor Hayes touched on this, and I'm new at this, but I would ask us to put together some type of, official document in support of farming in Bladen County. Now, I don't know what it would be, but supporting hog farms, grain, blueberries, all the farmers in Bladen County, put a document that we support them as county commission.
That's a full motion. Second. Yeah, I thought we've done it once already, haven't we, Mr. Martin?
In June, we adopted a resolution in June. We'll revisit, we'll send copies of that to you, and if you'd like that to be,
Yeah.
further action, we'll be glad to,
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Ms. Peters?
Those two ladies, with exceptional children that come letter to Zetter and Kenny's and stuff, I met with those two ladies, and we're working with East Point to try to get, see why they're not getting some services and stuff. But one of the concerns was the playground at the county park, and I would like, for the commissioners to give Greg the okay to check and see what it costs to put a fence up around that playground, because some of those exceptional children are runners, and that's the least we can do for a playground in Blaine County is put a fence around that. So if it's okay with commissioners, I'd like to Greg to look into that and bring us a price back, and let's vote on it at the next meeting.
I'll be glad to.
We have a nomination, a motion by Mr. Peterson, we got a second by Mr. Dallas. Any opposed? All in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Peters.
Mr. Chair, I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
I got a couple of concerns for the citizens of Council, Carvers Creek, Kelly. Their concerns that they have not received any information with the water. Most of them are in the, believe that their water is coming from the river, and they feel that they're having to spend a lot of money to buy bottled water, and a lot of them are seniors. And I'm not sure if enough information is provided to them. So, I mean, they hear a little in the news, but it doesn't say Kelly, Carvers Creek, Council, East Arcadia. There's no data at all. And they're kind of concerned because most of them are content or in the notion that their water is tainted as well. So I'd ask that Mr. Martin get a flyer, some type of information out and to those citizens so that they will know.
Yeah, to my knowledge,
Yeah,
we don't have
water.
a problem in that area.
Well, it's a
However,
different waterfall.
if it falls in that category, I mean, there again, some more to supply the water needs what you need.
But it may, I don't know if testing has been done other than the Kelly side.
We'll be glad to draft communication and share it. Thank you for bringing that up to us.
Yeah,
Yeah, on one side, not on the east side.
we can check that.
So- I did let them know that I would bring it up this, tonight.
Thank you.
Let me address that since we have people here tonight that may not know. Some people seem to think that we may be a little passive as far as the commercial goes. And then some of you know, me personally, I've met with them 4 times. And Comores has assured us, number one, they're under a state investigation. And while they're under a state investigation, we're not gonna take your county dollars and impede or interfere with a state investigation. We're gonna allow the state to do their job. They commended us on that. And they keep us informed, the data's out there for any and all of us to read. But the bottom line is this: Comores has assured, no one knows at this point what level is detrimental of any effect to the human body. That has not been declared. That is still going on. Number 2, they are a multi-million company and do several billion dollars a year in business. They have more money than we do in Bladen County. So we will allow them, once this has been determined, they have assured your commissioners that they will fix or take care of any problem that has been created and caused by Comores. In the event that that does not take place, then you will see your commissioners get seriously involved and go against what they have assured us. And we feel like that's the best policy, support the state to do their job, but I don't want serious consequences if we get out there doing something that we shouldn't do. And I feel like that the other commissioners can speak for themselves, obviously. But, I feel like that's the course we should go. They know how we feel. And I personally feel, I'm an optimist, been a member of the Optimist Club for about 30 years. I'm gonna keep reading, and I'm gonna maintain my optimism that I pray to God that it's not the problem that we all think it is. But if it is, then I think they will do what they said, and they should have to pay and take care of the problem. But I hope that appeases you to some degree, but I feel like we're doing what we can at this time to allow the course of action to go in which the state has told us that it has to go. Anybody else have any comment in reference to that? If not, at this time, I would like to declare a public hearing to receive comments regarding a rezoning request on property located at 1156 Chickenfoot Road that has been, looked into by our zoning committee. And if there's any questions here, we have Mr. Greg Elkins that will clarify anything that you may have and any questions. If we need to hear from them, we will, but I feel like they've done a good job on what they did to investigate. And can I get a motion at this time to approve the zoning committee's recommendation?
Motion to approve.
Got a motion by Mr. Peterson, a second by Mr. Good. Any questions?
I do have one.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't quite understand from the, sent items that if any comments or questions or concerns were, raised during the rezoning.
They were not. The planning board met on it, I think, in our June meeting, and, we didn't have any, this is the property owner right here, Mr. Coleman. It's an existing structure on that piece of property, and, DMV requires that you have, some type of office space for a used car lot. And, they're required, our zoning ordinance requires for it to be, zone commercial, so that's the whole purpose. But no comments were ever made.
As far as that goes as well, on this particular issue only, is there anyone in the office that, in the audience that needs to make any comments in reference or has any concern? If not, I declare this public hearing closed. Okay.
I so moved. Public hearing closed.
All right, we got a, motion by
Second.
Mr. Bullock, we got a second by Dr. Mungorens. Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Individual delegations wishing to address the commissioners. Madam Clerk. Department of, no, let's see, let's go to the Revenue Department, Ms. Renee Davis. We always want to hear what the tax levy is.
Well, it's short, so today. Good evening. There was a bid placed on July the 20th for a parcel at 2681 Highway 410 for $7,600. The expense was $7,600, and the value, I think, was like $8,000. And you can consider to approve or reject the bid of $7,600.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Peterson, we got a second by Mr. Dallas. Any discussion or any questions by anyone? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Department of Social Service, Ms. Vicki Smith, your recommendation.
Good evening. Hope everybody had a good Monday. Your week has got started off on a good foot. I have come this evening to ask for your signature on a memorandum of agreement. And this memorandum of agreement, the name of it is what we call JWISE. It is an agreement, first of all, let me state, it is a statewide agreement. All counties are having to enter into this with the District 13 District Court Judge's Office, the Guardian Ad Litem's Office, and then your local DSS. What this agreement does, it frees up the courts to be able to share their JWISE reports with the attorneys and with the local DSSs. It's an attempt to help us keep track of the court orders, pending court orders, and to assure that the permanency and the safety and well-being of the foster children are maintained in a fair and timely manner. What we're doing here, locally, our state children's representative is, planning a meeting with the stakeholders. She's looking at September for us to all to sit down together and determine how we are going to share these reports. All of the boxes that you see, on this, that will be determined at that time. But they did want us to bring that before our board before all of those decisions are made.
Make a motion to approve.
I'm going to ready the motion, second by Mr. Cogdell. Any further questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Yes, ma'am, thank you. Emergency services, Mr. Bradley Kimball. Our director.
Good evening. Item A, we did this a couple months ago for a couple other counties. Bladen hosted a grant and we received, or we're gonna receive and have received part of them already. I tried it for the surrounding 10 counties, but this is the next wave of trailers that will be delivered. And because we hosted the grant, they'll come in our ownership and we'll have to transfer them to those counties.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Stevens, we have a second by Mr. Bullock. Any further questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Item B, consider approving the MOA for the hazard mitigation grant program for reconstruction of 3 structures.
Motion approved.
Got a motion by Mr. Peterson, we got a second by Mr. Trivett. Any further discussion?
Yes, sir. Where are they located?
I don't have those in front of me, but I can tell you.
Okay. And then,
And
Steve, too.
a copy of the MOA was in the packet. I feel like they may have been in the address. We can get that to you.
Have the funds on these projects been released to you where you've got access to the funds at this time?
No, sir. Not quite.
So we're still in that same,
Yes, sir.
just making preparations?
Yes, sir. And item D and E, I'll dig in a little more to that.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
I'll make a motion to approve C, it's basically the same thing.
Got a motion by Mr. Peterson, a second by Mr. Bullock. Any further questions?
You say you're gonna get into it, what do you mean? Now, or you're gonna melt?
Item D and E, I was gonna talk a little more about where we currently stand, and Mr. Bullock, item B is 2 in Rowan on the 16,000 block of 210 and 1 to 10,000 block of Oakville Road. It just hit me, I typed those twice.
Old Field?
Old Fayetteville.
Old Field.
Same thing with the, elevation?
Yeah, I'm not sure where the,
Okay.
All right, we got a motion and we had a second. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
item D and E, our policies and plans, Jessie from Holly Consultants here with us tonight, she put them together on our behalf. Basically requires things that we have to have in place before we can spend this money. So, all those are listed for you, and I'll ask her if she will for just a brief second to tell you where we stand on these 2 programs.
Thank you, ma'am.
Just real quickly, back to the elevation question about where they're located, they are in Kelly. Both the elevations are located in Kelly. With the 2 grant agreements that you're approving tonight and the HMGP that you approved at last month's meeting, along with the 2 DRA programs, you now have over $3 million eventually at your disposal to spend on mitigation, construction, elevation, rehab activities in those disaster recovery projects. The policies and plans, I know that's a lot of material for you to absorb. I'll be glad to answer any questions you have on those, but they basically lay out the structure that needs to be in place for these programs before we can do anything. As far as when those funds will be released, on the HMGP projects, FEMA has already undergone an environmental process. So that puts you way ahead of the game. That's a good thing. On the DRA programs, those are state programs, so we don't have to do the level of environmental review that we would for, say, a federal strictly federal money. But we must do some environmental screening checklists on each one of the units that are selected to make sure that there are no issues with those properties. And that will start after this meeting. As far as going forward, we have been looking at the files that Kimberly Talbert provided us. We've been doing some damage assessments at most of those properties. We've been checking income levels for the two state programs, the Disaster Recovery Act and then the Hurricane Matthew Disaster Recovery Act funds, because those are income driven. Those people must be of moderate income. HMGP, that is not the case, but for the two DRAs, they must be low moderate income. So we've been looking at that. We've been checking income levels, doing the damage assessments in an effort to try to narrow it down and select those units for rehabilitation, for insurance premiums, small rental repair, and the host of activities that are available under that Disaster Recovery Act program. We will, going forward, go through a procurement process for your other professional services. We must put a surveyor in place, an asbestos inspector, lead-based paint inspector, structural engineer for the elevation projects to make sure that when we lift those up, a proper foundation is engineered for those houses to be safely lowered again. So all the policies and plans that are before you tonight are necessary. The most important ones are those budget ordinances so that we can get that on the books there and have, make that ready for you to receive those funds when you go.
Much as further do you need?
Second.
We got a motion by Mr. Peterson, we got a second by Dr. Mongoy. We have a question by Mr. Cotton.
I'm looking at a total of 5 structures. These 5 structures would be homes that you're referring to?
Yes, sir.
All these are homes?
Residences, yes.
Residences. And I'm looking at that's $700,000. Are we, you said we have $3 million that you kind of gave us a figure that we have ready to be used, $3 million. How many structures will we be looking at concluding in this thing once it gets to its, when you start developing and putting everything in place, how many more grants yet? Because people are asking me about getting their home fixed and when they get some kind of assistance. But this is from that Matthew type thing, right?
Yes, sir.
And they want to know, when can they start looking for assistance to come and how much of this is we gonna have available?
There's not a final figure yet for the residences because we need to figure out how many will qualify for those two state programs. Each of those programs are $1 million apiece. All of your HMGP allocation is $1,184,000 and some change for your hazard mitigation units that have already been selected. I am guessing that there will be anywhere from 8 to 15 in the DRA program for rehabilitation assistance, reconstruction, those kinds of things. And then for the HMDRA, those were earmarked for mitigation reconstruction at 8 structures. So assuming that once those units are bid out and you do have the funds to be able to treat those, there will be about 8 in that HM program.
So total, you're talking about 0.30. 8 and 15.3?
Roughly, yes, sir.
I have one question on that. With your experience and knowledge, what percentage of that $3 million would you equate to the cost of all the legality as far as the, everything involved as far as making sure everything is done properly? What's your experience, Joe, on that, from your engineering and asbestos and all the other things combined? $3 million sounds like a lot, but how much
It
of that
does,
is actually reality?
and it does vary from property to property, depending upon the appraised value, say, for the acquisition. And then there are project cost trackers that we get from the EM when we begin these, but it's very hard for me to give you a percentage. There's some admin costs and then other professional costs, but the money for the HMGP has already pretty much been earmarked, and that's based upon algorithms that FEMA comes up with. But I would say, 15% or less of that goes to, admin and engineering and those type of things.
So make sure you understand, if we may exceed 5 million, 10 million, I know they say it's a funding that's available through the state that they've been at odds about releasing to do this type of stuff in mitigation and doing everything. Is it any guideline as how much Bladen County will receive in comparison to other places, or you don't have a cap on that?
In comparison to others, no, each of the DRA programs, you maxed out at your $1 million. That was all that a county could apply for. They got $1 million, you got $1 million for the DRA. You got an additional $1 million for your HMDRA they just said, Bladen County has needs, we're gonna put some more money there. There's also a CDBG disaster recovery program that the county will also be availing itself of, although the state will be, administering that program. That's another $1 million, so that was not even included in this $3,100,000.
So yeah, $4 or $5 million, what you saying, somewhere in that neighborhood, $4 or $5 million. Well, the only reason I'm asking structure, I was looking at how much it was costing just to do the 3 structures and the 2 structures. That's the reason I was looking at how much funding would be available to actually do the work and take 15% of the total amount of work.
I can have better figures for that in the next meeting, but we'll probably be coming back with some procurement issues at that point, and improving those contracts.
Okay.
But your guideline dictates where you spend the money, so
It does.
there's no, you
There's
don't have a whole lot of wiggle room.
There are formulas.
So I mean, it's handed down to your guidelines.
And of course, we will be bidding out, the actual rehabilitation, that is through an open bidding process, so.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, one more comment. As you just alluded to, the CDBG program is now available. Anybody that hadn't received assistance, call 211. They'll schedule an appointment to the closest disaster application center, which is now Fair Bluff. It's my understanding where they're pointing all our folks. Do a couple trips to Raleigh and a few emails. They have agreed to open one here in Bladen. We'll be hosting that at the training center. I got a date, potentially open on the 20th, and be here for a minimum of 2 months. But it's not a walk-in. You can't walk in and make application. You got to call 211 to get appointment scheduled for that.
Appointed this month?
Yes, sir. So we're looking. We're very excited about that.
Please do a press release.
We will. I just got it this afternoon.
Okay.
The confirmation they are coming here. So that saves our citizens, especially in Rowan, driving all the way to Fair Bluff. We're very thankful for that.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate all your help.
Thank you.
Sheriff's Office. Mr. Jim Victor.
All right, I'll go to sleep. The sheriff had a prior engagement, filled in for him tonight. We got a couple of things on the agenda. 9A is considered approving an asset purchase and transfer agreement with MD LLC for 2 school monopoles. A monopole is a type of communications tower. And out of this year's budget, we've got some money to beef up or improve the backup radio system and the paging system. And in order to do that, we've got at least one area where we've got some coverage issues, and that's up in Hammond. What we're trying to do, these monopoles only run about $25,000 to $30,000 a piece. The schools happen to have some at some of their school sites, and this company has agreed to sell us 2 of them for a little over $9,000. And what we intend to do is take one of those monopoles, put it up in the end area at the solid waste site or at the fire station to fill that gap up there. And then the other one down the road, we're looking at placing over at the firing range. Currently, there's no telephone or communications or internet at the firing range proper. And I put that second monopole there. That gives the ability to put some type of wireless internet in there without having to bury pipe into that site.
Mr. Secretary, this is something that we previously discussed, and y'all worked on and got the price down and all of it, so.
Yes,
These ones like out there at the lady, those poles that you used to have for satellites and schools.
that's correct. Yes, so they don't.
Motion to approve.
Second. Got a motion by Mr. Peterson, we got a second by Mr. Daniel Dallas.
Question.
Any questions,
Yeah,
Dr. Mongoy?
But is it for the fire department, not just for the sheriff department?
Just for
What happened?
all emergency services. For the fire
Okay.
department, this is paging, the.
So it'll be managed by
backup
who? Who will be responsible
It'll
for
be
it?
the county, ultimately, the counties. I'll be involved with it, but it's being paid for out of emergency services money, so it's all about the county.
Okay, so I'm just wondering about this. So no contracts or no, okay.
I mean, it's on, it'll be put on county property, it's put at the fire station, and we'll have some of the agreement like we had at Target.
Okay.
But
All right.
it's-
Thank you.
Any further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Mr. Earl.
The second item is update regarding the roadside litter pickup program. And as y'all are aware, we last year went through and due to some issues with the state no longer picking up litter and trash along secondary roads. The sheriff was able, along with Mr. Cleary and solid waste, was able to use 3 or 4 of our misdemeanor confinement people along with a part-time officer to supervise and assist with the litter pickup. It's going very, very well. We actually started the program June 26th, and y'all were provided some information in your packets, and that has actually been updated as of today. As of today, they've collected 504 bags of trash, 3.25 tons or 6,500 pounds of trash debris was collected, 500 pounds of furniture and related material has been collected. So, in a little over a month, like I said, we got a little over 3.25 tons of debris off the roadway. The way in which the garbage is collected, we basically, in coordination with solid waste, we've been taking the most complaints and hitting those areas first. I know that they've hit Center Road, Owen Hill Road, over across the river, Clarkson area, I think down here Fort Road. So there's different areas, but they took Center Road, I think, and Owen Hill Road were the 2 highest complained areas. So those were hit first. But from here on out, the intention is to continue to hit the roads that we have the most complaints on, but also doing it in a quarter of the county up, one of the northeast sector, northwest sector, southeast sector, and southwest sector, and sort of go around clockwise or counterclockwise. Depending on availability.
I like to make, of course, first of all, I think it's one of the greatest things that's happened. The sheriff and y'all's department have done a super job with that. But I think Mr. Martin would agree with me, because I get the calls left and right, and it's one of our main interests is coming into our town, actually right there where the solid waste is. And those residents right there along that road from solid waste right on into Pace Apartments, coming into your administrative building and into our county offices, they get hit hard there with people carrying the trash to the dump and the trucks in and out and scattering. And believe me, I get the calls. And, but that, I'm sure Mr. Martin would appreciate that, would eliminate some of his calls, but that seems to be
We'll add it to the
biggest
list.
call there. And I can understand them, because that's a lot of traffic, and that's where people are going. But more certain of that is one of our main thoroughfares coming into our town. And coming into all of our municipalities. But we do thank y'all for everything. And commend the sheriff for us too.
Thank you.
Soil and water and conservation, Mr. Dean Morris, director.
Good evening, I'm Dean Morris, and this is Mr. Ward Stocks, he's a contractor. He's from Columbus County, and what we're here for is talking about the big swamp. We've got a stream debris removal contract in place. We've got 2 for the big swamp. We've got an upper and a lower, is how we've labeled them. Mr. Stocks got the bid on the contract, and he started work on number 1. When we got in there, when we did them, the water was high, and we saw what we saw. And now that the water has dropped, we see that the problem is significantly worse. And we kind of want to show you this right now. on a PowerPoint that we have. This is the lower stretch. I wanna show you that this goes from, State Road, 1,000, is it 1,000? Which is Lennon's Crossroad down at the Bladen Columbus line, and it goes down to the Lumber River. So we're going into Columbus County with this project. And this is where he has started already. The upper portion right now is starting there at that point at the Lennon's Bridge and going up to business to the left. And this affects the drainage for the entire Bladenmore community west from Bladen. This was some of our initial inspection. That's our planner, Greg Elkins there. As you can see with the waters up, what it looked like. It's bad, but you're getting ready to see what it looked like. This was back in the fall, when the water was higher. This is another picture of what we were looking at to come up with estimates. And I estimated it about $3 a foot, when I was requesting the funds. These funds are from Golden Leaf. There's some more. This is fall 2017. Here's what we're looking at now. That wasn't obvious then. It's bad. It's worse than we can ever imagine.
It's the worst I've ever done. I've been cleaning streams for about 10 years, and this year was cleaning about 75 miles. And it's by far the worst that we've been in. A lot of this area was dug with steam shovels, and it was deep. And the only thing I can explain, they connected these lakes. So in between the lakes is where there's so much problem with when the water goes out. It goes a lot lower. You understand? The water sets more in the lakes during the low times.
And you can see it stacked in there like Lincoln logs. It's really bad. And it just doesn't give up. I mean, this place is not navigated. It hasn't been for a long time. The big swamp contract, the lower that Mr. Stocks has, the original amount was $34,900. He bid $1.41 a foot for it. That was what he saw. He's requesting that we increase that with a change order, and that would increase it to $3.21 a foot, which would add an additional $44,753 for a total of $79,653. And you can look on the right-hand side with the upper portion, it would do the same thing. It would increase from $1.35 to $3.21. We do have this in budget. I had planned for it ahead. Even with this increase, it's still lower than the next lowest bid. So that would keep us from having to rebid the project. So that's what we're looking at. So I just want to request the board.
Motion to approve B and C.
I got a motion by Mr. Peterson, got a second from Ms. Ashley Trigger. Any further discussion?
Yeah, one question. When I was looking at that, and I seen when the hurricane, Matthew came through, and I know the swamp like going down 211 there. And I looked at all that debris that came up in there all of a sudden. Do you cut back into that debris out of the lake, or does it stay the same? I'm trying to figure out how you keep it from being turned the next time.
It'll be cut back and pulled back 20 feet back from the stream.
So you're gonna cut and pull back?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out, because I was saying it was all still, it was all built back.
We should see a significant difference. And the Black River, to update you there, is getting ready to start this week, so we're really excited about that. The reason for the delay is the contractors, he can explain, he's been in Columbus County working, and that's the other contractors asking.
I think one thing that we all are to consider here is that, we just talked about a $3 million deal, and we need to look at what's cost a lot of it, was the backup of water. And we know it's all coming. We respect the gentleman for his low bid. However, we don't see anybody go out of business, and I had talked to you already, and I respect that, and I do for several reasons. Number one, we will need this service again, and I hope you'll consider us for what we do.
Yeah, I want to have a good relationship.
Yes, so, we We got a motion, and we take any further discussion?
If you drag in any petrified logs out there, just, let the county know so we can go get that gold. I ain't gonna let this thing, we had spoken with you prior when you came in about other projects. Is this the only one that we gonna see going on now? Or will we implement some
No,
more?
so we're gonna be working on the, Black River and Big Swamp at the same time, and also the Bryant Swamp. They're moving in and they're gonna, that's their priorities to work. We'll be starting work on the South River, upper and lower, very soon. I've got 10 more contracts as soon as I get them from the division on water that encompasses rivers all over the county.
And I read, I'll read out that, and I look at one that comes off on MLK that I've talked about on
Brown's Mark.
That one is, it's done completely changed course of the whole place down there.
We'll be doing Brown's Creek.
I'll make sure.
It's on the list.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. General Service Department, Mr. Kip McCleary.
Good evening. When we were preparing budgets for this year, I did a presentation for you relating to the jail LEC facility. Before you tonight is a request to approve a contract with Williams Fire Sprinkler Company for services at that facility, which will provide the testing, the monitoring, and the certification reports to show that our facility is meeting the state requirements for fire protection.
Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I
Got a motion by Mr. Cogdell, we got a second by Dr. Montgomery. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So
Thank you.
moved. Now I'd like to consider going into water board session. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion by Dr. Montgomery, we got a second by Mr. Bullock. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, good evening, members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. We have an amendment to our contract in front of you, but I'll cover that in just a minute. To give you a quick update on where we are, the design of all the water lines is very close to being complete. We're starting the permitting process now. I would expect to see some activities. We start building towards construction in the next few months. So you'll be seeing more of us as we start bringing you contracts to consider. There's some USDA items that, excuse me, will have to be approved by you and by your manager and by your attorney. So you should see more activity from us and as it relates to phase 4 in the coming months. And I'm happy to answer any questions before we leave. The amendment in front of you is something that's unique that USDA has had a change of policy on. Some of you will remember in the last phases of your water district, when we drilled a new well, we would put the drilling of the test well, and this was actually at USDA's requirement, we put the drilling of the test well and all the water sampling as part of the construction package. And then the first thing that the well driller would do is drill the test well, pull the water samples, and we would review the water samples to make sure that it is a good well site. All that works fine as long as the water is good and it's suitable for a permanent well. Some of you will remember in phase 3B, we actually did the same thing. We drilled a test well on Bull Street. The water was high in iron, so we actually had to back up and punt and drill another test well over on Smith Mill Pond Road, which turned out just fine. What we're doing tonight, what we're requesting you do tonight, is not eliminate any cost or risk of the water being good or bad, but we're trying to reduce the amount of time it takes to alleviate such a concern. So USDA recently has allowed for the installation of the test well. Instead of being folded under the construction contract, it would be folded under the engineering contract. The same scope of services, frankly, compared to the budget, actually just a tiny bit lower cost. But it allows us to drill a test well as part of the design and know the water quality before we start construction, so that we don't come before you with time extensions and cost extensions to then go to another site, which creates all kinds of delays. It is not a net increase in the total budget amount. It's actually a very small decrease. And Mr. Chairman, happy to answer any questions, and request your consideration.
Your motion.
Councilman, can I get a question first? How many is a few months?
So that's a great question. Some of it will, frankly, will depend on your consideration tonight and getting the test well in the ground and if the water comes back favorable. If it comes back favorable, you'll be seeing more of us between now and October, November. If it doesn't, it'll be delayed another couple of months.
So, you know, we've had trouble with black water and stuff like that when we drill. Is there any precautionary measures y'all took to make sure that this piece of land is, or is there anything you can do to say, yeah, you think this is gonna be a good piece of land?
Can I speak to that?
Or we don't know?
We have been talking with our attorney, and he has created for us a draft of an option purchase. Naturally, we can't guarantee what's below ground until we drill the well. But in this option to purchase, one of the things we're suggesting in here, and we've talked with property owners out there about it, is that we would put down a $1,000 deposit. We would, instead of paying for survey, flag the property where we want the well to go. We would drill the test well. And if the test well proves back to be exactly what we want, or meets the need of the district, then we would proceed with final negotiations on the property, get the survey, and get everything tidied up so that we can proceed with actually drilling the production well. If at that point, though, we find that in the drilling of the test well, the water is unsuitable for our use, we've only lost $1,000 as an offer to purchase, and the cost of drilling the test well. We would then have to cite another piece of property and try it again.
Yeah, I understand that, and I read that, but I was wondering if there's anything technology-wise that you could, the technology improved so that we can say, yeah, this is good before we even pay $1,000.
Right, so there's not an affordable technology to do that. However, we have discussed with your staff, with two well drillers who have generations of experience in Bladen County, and in our professional opinion, that we have picked a spot with as high likelihood as we can evaluate at this point that we'll hit a good vein of water. Other than that, I would prefer to not mention where it is and the details of that at this point, but sure.
Well, I got another question. When we dig these wells, I'm new to this process about these wells, and I've heard us speak about wells over on the western part of the county that we have had some complications with some chemicals getting into them. How deep are these wells going to be? Will we be beyond that point at this point, or will we be, like, remember you said the wells up here were like 90 feet shallow on the west end of the county? Are we gonna go down deep enough that we won't have to worry about that type of contamination, or what we talking about?
We're looking at authorization to drill a test well at 325 feet. So we will go on down with this. And this is based on a little bit of history I've had with working with Columbus. We know over on the Twisted Hickory Road in Columbus, which becomes Silver Spoon, there are two production wells over there that are in 200 to 300 foot range that are very high yield wells without brown water problems and without other issues. We know that they're in the lower Cape Fear aquifer, the PD aquifer, and Black River aquifers. And so we're hoping to pretty well strike that same vein of water or that movement of water as it goes through underground. Don't know, can't guarantee, because rock shelves and other things that exist geologically below us we can't predict, but we're hoping to get close enough down in that region that we can pick up on those aquifers.
Got a motion by Mr. Peterson, we got a second by Mr. Gooden. Any further questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we got here, Kip, you give us an update on Abbotsford well? I know we had trouble with it, someone said lightning keeps hitting.
Yes, sir, lightning struck that well, knocked out the pump system entirely over there. That has all been replaced. Alan can confirm tonight, that well is producing, back in operation. We did put a lightning arrestor on there, and we will be talking with the power company to see if they can also assist us with some sort of lightning arresting equipment over there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Can I get a motion to exit the board?
So moved. Second.
We got a motion by Mr. Peterson, we got a second by Mr. Bullock. All in favor say aye. Aye. We'll go back to executive session. Advisory board appointments.
On this first one here, Mr. Brett, I don't, this takes a lot of time and a lot of training, and the Robertsons have resigned. But I make a motion to reappoint Larry Hayes until we really need to look at two people to do this. It does take a lot of time, so, and I've been trying with the vote to Blaine Baptist and everybody else I know to go through, so if anybody knows anybody,
I think I need the, requirements for it. Is that something
I
that's
think
interesting?
we sent it to us.
We'll get it, how long ago? If you can give it to me, because that's what I might be interested in, okay.
Got a motion by Mr. Peterson,
Second?
got a second by Mr. Cogdell. Any further questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. East Point MCO Advisory Committee.
I nominate Mr. Mike Cogdell.
Second.
Chairman, I nominate Charles Ray Peterson.
Second.
Got a motion and a second on both Mr. Peterson as well as Mr. Cogdell. We'll do one at a time. All in favor from Mr. Peterson, show raise your hand. Mr. Cogdell. Mr. Cogdell and Hickory Grove Fire Service District Committee number 1.
Motion to reappoint.
Second. We got a motion by Mr. Peterson to reappoint. Got a
He
second by
resigned.
Mr. Downing.
He resigned. Motion table.
Okay.
Second table.
We got a motion by Mr. Peterson to table, got a second by Mr. Bullock to table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Table. Kelly Fire Service District.
I contacted them and, hoping Sheriff Carter, somebody will contact you, let you know. But right
Motion
now,
table.
don't have it on tape.
We got a motion by Mr. Bullock to table, a second by Ms. Mongoins. Any further questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Table. Library Board.
Judy Evans to replace the unexpired term.